everyone, welcome back to the Commander Duo. Today I'm going to share with you my Pir and Toothy deck. Pir basically adds one additional counter to any permanent you would put a counter on. And Toothy, whenever you draw a card, you put a counter on him, and if you were to leave the battlefield, you draw cards equal to the amount of counters on him. Now, let's get into it. First, we're going to start with the creatures of the deck. And here we have some mana dorks. We have Birds of Paradise, Llanawor Elves, Incubation Druid, Marrowleaf Pixie, Rishkar Pima Renegade, and a Rick Smithy Slumbering Isle. This is more of a land, but since he does produce mana, I put him in with the mana dorks. Next we have Spore Frog, Champion of Lambhold, which is a must-have in this deck, and Eternal Witness, Thrumming Bird, Chasm Skulker, which is a super cool card, because when he leaves you create as many squids as counters on him, Laboratory Maniac, Spark Double for 2 Pirs, Herald of Secret Streams for Unblockable. Next we have our multicolored permanents, Master Pyromancer, Zagana, Utopian Speaker to give other creatures trample, Rolusk, Apex Hybrid, and Prime Speaker Zagana, which is a super good card in this deck. Here we have some Hydras, so we start with Mana Gorger, which is super good, Iron Scale Hydra, and then my personal favorite, Colonian Hydra, because every time he attacks, you double the amount of counters on each creature you have. Here we have Vigor, which is a super good card, and Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, which is the second Vorinclex they came out with. Next we have Renata, Call to the Hunt, Thassa, God of the Sea for Unblockable, and finally the last creature is going to be Krufix, God of Horizons, specifically for unlimited hand size because you draw a lot of cards in this deck. Moving on, we're going into enchantments. First we have Hadana's Climb, which once a creature has 3 or more counters on it, you transform it into a legendary land. This is super easy to get off. I usually get it off the turn I summon this card. So, yeah. This enchantment is a must-run, Simic Ascendancy. It's super easy to get 20 counters, so definitely run that. Here we have Spider Umbra for Totem Armor. Hardened Scales, which is essentially another Pir. Sylvan Library, which is super cool because even though you can put 2 cards back, each draw is considered a proc for Toothy's triggered ability. Next we have Primal Vigor and then Doubling Season. Essentially both do the same thing, just Doubling Season only affects you and Primal Vigor affects the whole board. Asceticism for protection for my creatures, and finally Mana Reflection for mana fixings and also just being able to put a lot into some of my X spells. Here we have Telepathy, super fun card. Frogify to silence other people's creatures. Rhystic Study to add more counters on Toothy. And finally, As Foretold, because casting spells without paying anything is super fun. And the counters on him do get additional with Pir as well. Next we have Artifacts. We have the Ozolith, which is super good because if a creature were to leave with counters, you can just transfer those counters onto a different creature. And then Soul Ring, of course, Arcane Signet, Simic Signet, Thought Vessel for unlimited hand size, Lightning Greaves, Sword of Truth and Justice for proliferating and adding counters. And Great Henge. Super good card. Definitely a must run because you get to draw cards and put counters on creatures. And then finally Fractal Harness, which is Cool card because it lets you double counters if it's equipped to any creature with counters when it attacks. Here we have sorceries, so we have Rampant Growth, and then Nature's Lore, then Cultivate, and Explosive Vegetation for all the land searching. And here we have See Beyond, and Continuous Plan, Tezzer's Gambit, and Finale of Revelation for card draw in the deck. Finale of Revelation is super good, especially if you put 10 into X, because you get unlimited hand size for the rest of the game. Lastly, for our spells, we have our instants. So we have Peek and Brainstorm for card draw, and then for counters, we have Dispel, Mana Leak, Disdainful Stroke, Counter Spell, of course, and Mana Drain. Next, we have Nature's Claim and Naturalize to remove people's artifacts or enchantments. And then Fog and Polymorpher's Jest for protection and stopping people from attacking you, essentially. And finally, we have Quandrix Command. It does a few different things, but each thing it does is actually really beneficial for this deck specifically. Here we have our lands. We have Command Tower, Opal Palace, specifically for its ability, Prismatic Vista, Breeding Pool, Hinterland Harbor, Vine Glimmer Snarl, Rejuvenating Springs, Simic Guildgate, Simic Growth Chamber, Flooded Grove, Tide Channel Pathway, Minamo, School at Water's Edge, which is a really good land. You should pick one up. Mystic Sanctuary, Reliquary Tower for unlimited hand size once again, and finally for non-basics we have Rogue's Passage. And then the rest of my lands are basics. We have 10 forests and 5 islands. This deck is a little bit more green heavy, so that's why there's so many more forests than islands. But yeah, that is Pir and Toothy. It's a super fun, casual deck. It's not too competitive, but it is a lot of fun to play. I always really enjoy playing this deck. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this deck review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like and subscribe.